Hi everyone and welcome to Reality Check. Well, we'll discuss what's happening in Toronto's real estate market, where it's going, and help you make informed decision buying and selling. My name is Nima. I'm here with Devaney.
Hi everyone.
And today what we're going to talk about is what's going on in the market.
It's
slowing down. I don't even know what I'm doing these days. So let's talk about the market watch, the first segment. So we're going to talk about the sales, what's going on with the sales. So last month we had just around 6,500 sales, and I want to just track what's been going on since the beginning of the year. So let's start with January. So January we had around 56. Sales went up to over 9,000. From 9,000 went to 11,000, and then things started to slowly come down. We came down to 8,000 in April. We came down to 7,200 in May, and right now we're at 6,500. So the sales are coming down, and historically around May and June we're having one of the highest number of sales of the year.
Yeah.
But right now things are coming down. Now let's look at what's going on with the active listings. So the active listing has been creeping up slowly. So in January, when the sales were actually pretty high, we had about 4,000 active listings. February went up to around 7,000. March went up to over 10,000.
Which is high.
April went up to over 13,000. May over 15,000. Now we're over 16,000.
And that directly correlates to the month of inventory, essentially.
Exactly. So as the active listing is creeping up, sales are coming down. This is why we see the average prices slowly come down. So while we're still on the topic of sales, so annually, the sales are down 41% from compared to what was going on last June. But I also want to know what's going on with last month. So month over month, we're also down 11%.
In all categories.
In all categories of home. So this is like from all the way from condos to detached.
In all areas in the GTA.
All of them, yeah. So it's TREB stats. And with all that, the number of sales are down from the historic average, 10-year historic average, 25%.
So from 10 years ago today, we're down 25%.
5%. So if you do the average for 10 years, we're down 25%. So right now in June, we should be about hovering around 9,800 sales, and we're down to around 6,500. So this is why everyone's kind of feeling this slowness. But in reality, things are still trading. It's just uncertainty in the market that is making a lot of people just stay on the sidelines. So let's get into the average price. So right now, the average price is hovering at around 1,146,000. At the peak of the market, we're at 1.3 million.
Yeah.
So what has contributed to the lower average price?
Many factors, but one driving force I would say is the inventory is up, right? So that's one big thing. And then the interest rates, but I don't know if you want to go talk about that right now because it's a loaded one.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that as well, but exactly as you mentioned, so the interest rates rise, so people pull back their purchasings, and the active listings build up. So this is why when people have actual more choices to pick from, the prices, there's not much upward pressure on the prices.
Which is a good problem to have.
Which is really good, yeah. I mean, like we shouldn't have shot up so much back in February. So this is why I want to talk about this graph right here. So as we see, looking at January and February, so we got these two dots right here, and February being the highest dot on the chart right now. So this is, again, very similar to what we had back in February, March of 2017. You see 4 dots literally shooting up and way out of line, and things start to come down. Here we have the same thing. We see February at the peak of the market at 1.3 million, and for the last 4 months everything has been slowly coming down. We should probably see at least a couple more months of negative price growth.
Which I think we will, right?
We should. I mean, we got the interest rates going up again in July, shortly. So by the time this recording comes up, probably we're gonna have the announcement. My prediction is going to be 0.5. We'll see about that. And with that being said, again, this is going to affect the market. Usually, anytime there's an interest rate hike, 30 to 60 days past that market is really acting up and people are really putting things on hold just to see what's going on.
It's like an adjustment period, right?
Exactly. And market is right now uncertain. And the main reason for that is we still have a lot of people in the market that have bought and sold, let's say, back in the February. So a lot of people bought their
and
homes.
need to still sell.
Yeah, February and March, and they still need to sell. And I know a lot of homes right now in the market that have been on the market and they're going through this same situation. Like their expectation is, okay, you know what, I want to grab the prices back in February and March, but the reality is different. Once we progress, let's say we go around September, I foresee market kind of calming down and people's expectation coming into line with the reality of what the prices are. So hopefully we'll see more sales because you're going to be trading in the same market. And if someone is selling in the same market, selling low, you're going to be buying low as well.
It's also more balanced, right?
It's going to be more balanced.
Yeah.
I want to talk about what's going on with the average prices. So average price of a detached right now in 416 area is sitting at $1,737,000. So keep that in mind, and keep that in mind at the peak of the market in February, we were at $2,074,000. So the prices in Toronto have actually also dropped by about $337,000 in the detached market. That's about 19% drop.
But we're basically back November 21.
Exactly. So when we look at the average price graph, right now we're average price of all types of home is $1,146,000. When we go on the graph, we're literally back to October, November prices. So it's not that bad. I mean, like October, November, people were like,
a great year.
Yeah,
a great
everyone
month,
was happy to sell their home back in October, November. But now, because they've seen what was going on back in February, they want to.
ones.
Yeah, well, that ship sailed. So let's get back to reality. So these are the prices for 416 area. In York region, the average detached price was sitting at $1,728,000. Now we're down to $1,362,000, and that's about $366,000 drop, or about 27%. Again, we've always said it. York region tends to see the highest price fluctuations. I mean, back in February, I think we had about almost 33% price increase year over year, and this is why you see sharper decline in prices.
I'm kind of looking forward to getting to a more conservative price appreciation, almost in the single digits.
Well, it's got to be in the single digit, average for the 25-year average is around 7%, and this is what we got to see. So once it goes
overstimulated right now.
So this is why we see a 27% drop, because it's got to bring it in line with the average. Now let's talk about the condo prices. In the 416 area, we're at $771,000, and in 905, we're at $692,000.
Also, do you want to talk about the fact that it's the larger unit types that are really trading right now?
Actually,
as opposed to the one bedrooms?
Yeah, that's
which used to be kind of the trend.
That's a really good point. The reason we don't see much of a drop in the prices of condos, I mean, right now, let's just say talk about 905 region. The condo prices from the peak have dropped about 9%. The reason for that is the sales in the one bedroom plus 10 have drastically dropped, because those are the type of condos that mostly investors are purchasing. Yeah. But a lot of people, end users, have flocked to buying two bedrooms and up. Exactly. And a lot of our own clients have been literally looking at alternatives of buying larger condos.
I see it even in pre-construction.
Exactly.
Quite a bit.
In pre-construction, we've been seeing that drastically, that a lot of people are opting for buying larger suites because of their own demand. It's not just buying for investment speculation, it's buying for their own needs. Majority of the time when we're going, especially in the platinum stage, we're having a tough time getting the larger suites for our clients.
And now it's the complete opposite.
Exactly. So now let's get back to the topic you like to talk about, months of inventory. So, again, Dev, I want you to explain what months of inventory is.
If there was no other supply on the market by the end of the month, that's how long it would take for everything to be sold, basically.
Exactly. So, this is the indication we use when we're pricing homes.
It's the marker.
Exactly. When we're pricing homes to put it on the market, when we're giving advice to our own buyers to buy it in a certain area, we'll look at the months of inventory for that specific pocket to determine where the market is. I mean, overall, we look at the market, we're at 2.49 months of inventory.
What was the last month? Do you remember?
So that's last month was at 2.12.
And now we're at 2.49.
Yeah.
So almost 2. Okay.
So almost about almost 2 weeks increase since last month. But what's more interesting is 2 months ago, we were at 1.64 months of inventory.
Which was very much a seller's market.
It was seller's market, but within 2 months, we've creeped up almost a month supply. And the way it's going, I think we're gonna head around 3 to 3.5 months of inventory by around September, which is gonna be more of a balanced market.
Well, 4 months is almost, it's a buyer's market, right? So
anything past 4 months, it would literally put us in a buyer's market. And while we're on the same topic, at the peak of COVID in April of 2020, when we're looking at this graph, we had over 3.5 months of inventory. That's when we saw the sharpest decline in prices in just 1 month.
Well, it was a standstill. Everyone was like panic. It was, now we're a little bit more used to it.
We were in a lockdown, like no one wanted to go out, take a look at homes unless they had to. So this is why the month of inventory shot up, and there were some great deals to be had during that time. Right after April, we saw people coming back into the market in May, June, and July. And in August of 2020, we had the craziest August of all time.
And then it just never stopped.
And it never stopped till recently. So again, April of 2020, over 3.5 months of inventory. Fast forward right now to June 2022, we're almost at 2.5 months of inventory. So this graph, like, it's clearly showing where we're heading with the months of inventory. I mean, like, we saw the number of sales gradually coming down for the last 4 months. The active listing is gradually increasing, so month of inventory is building up. And because of that, there's gonna be a downward pressure on the price. So there's gonna be, again, good deals to be had in the coming months.
A lot of assignments. My email is inundated with assignments every day.
So let's talk about that actually. So a lot of people that bought pre-construction previously, they bought it with the intent to assign. And that's never a good idea, because if the market is, in the situation that we're right now, they have to sell it. And we're seeing assignments that people bought 4 years ago.
It's the year of assignments.
Yeah. They were selling it at the same price. I mean, we're looking at assignments all the way from North York to downtown that some people have to just assign because they can't close on it with the rising interest rate. They're not going to get qualified for a mortgage. They rather just get their deposit and walk away as opposed to even making a profit. So it's never a good idea to buy with the intent to assign, and we've been always telling that to our clients.
Summer is here also, so that's a little bit of a factor. It's our first, out of COVID summer. People are traveling. No one really wants to
look what's happening in the Pearson Airport, like with the...
Yeah, that's insane.
A lot of people are traveling, so again, we're seeing it with our own clients as well. A lot of people have put buying on hold. Just to, get back to life, because, for the last 2 years, it's been a pretty bad situation.
Which is a great time to be buying, right? It's like, I always say Christmas time is a great time to be buying because nothing's happening. So if you're that one person, that's where the deal is had.
And in my opinion, the next 30 days is a very good time to buy, because still there are people who bought in February and March that are still on the market to sell their home to close on their next home. Yeah. And these are the deals that you will not find within 30 days from now.
But if you're waiting and waiting and waiting for the deal, like, I would say it's not the best idea. Like, you're trying to time the market. We can't even time the market, so just
exactly. You can never time the market. If you're in the market, you have to be ready to see if there is a deal there to jump on it and grab it. So let's talk about another topic that's been really making headlines, and that's the rental rates.
Oh my gosh, yes.
In the last 2 months, we've been talking about how the rental rates will be going up and have been going up. And if you go back to a couple of shows ago, you will see one of our forecasts was saying that the rental rates are going up. So much so that, let's talk about a 1-bedroom condo in downtown Toronto.
Well, let's take Avita's condo, just for example.
How much was that renting, what was it, a year ago, year and a half ago?
A year and a half ago, I think we listed it for like $1,600, and we got like...
And that's a 1-bedroom condo in Financial District.
Yeah, well, no, not in Financial District. It's in Liberty.
Liberty, sorry, yeah.
It's in Liberty. And no parking, nothing. And now, all of a sudden, multiple offers, less than 1 day, $2,400.
So walk us through what happened. You listed it at what price? So it was originally $1,600.
Yeah.
The tenant moves out. You listed it for...
I listed it at $2,050 because I said, hey, like, let's just get someone in. Just that's what the client wanted, quality tenant. And
how many offers we got?
I got 7, and I said no more offers after that.
And what did it end up going for?
2,400. No
That's
parking.
crazy. That's crazy.
499 square feet.
That's
I'm
nuts.
scared.
So
Yeah.
average price of a one-bedroom condo, I think based on Trep stats, was hovering around 1,840 last year. Right now we're up to 2150 or something like that. So that shows how much the rental demand has gone up. And again, this is based on rates. So rents go up as rates go up. So we're going to have
people shift their mindset, right? It's not that one directly correlates. It really has to do with how people react. Sometimes people put their needs on hold. They're like, we wanted to buy. Now we can't qualify for the same amount. Let's just go rent for a year. And so that kind of really inundated the rental market. And I think everyone's just at a standstill, wait and see. And so that was the next option.
Exactly. Yeah. And with the rates going up, the qualification becomes tougher and tougher because, we have the stress test that qualifies people at a much higher rate. So their affordability comes down, so a lot of people are just putting that on hold.
Do you want to touch on that a bit, the stress test?
So what
that,
Yeah, so anytime you're getting a mortgage from all these A lenders, banks, you have to qualify at a higher rate just in case the rates go up. So
which was your safety net for right now.
Exactly. This is why they did that, because when our rates were artificially low, they wanted to see if the rates went up by, let's say, 2%, would you still be able to afford it? So that, once the rate go up, which would go up anyways, you wouldn't be in a mess that we would have to start selling your property.
So even the default rate right now is super, super low. It's at what, less than 1%?
It is less than 1%.
And they were saying something about...
and that's a testament to the mortgage rules that we have. Otherwise, right now, with what's going on with the rates, things would have been pretty messy.
Yeah.
So, since we're talking about the rental rates, let's talk about the rent increase that was put in place for 2023, which is at 2.5%. So anyone wants to increase their rent, this is mostly for the condos that are built prior
to 2018 October.
Yeah, November 2018 occupancy. So if you're prior to that, if your occupancy was after November 2018, you're not governed by rental control. Prior to that, you can only increase your rent by 2.5%.
If you are wanting to invest, obviously, because investors are doing also a little bit of a wait and see, but rents are up and optimal right now, it kind of is the perfect storm for you to jump in, purchase something, get a tenant in for the next year or two, because that's kind of the lifespan of a tenant, is about 2-3 years before, their life changes and they need something else. It's a great time for you to be doing that. So jump in,
Actually, the question I've been asking myself with that rent increase is that 2.5% is supposed to be based on CPI and inflation. I don't know where they got the 2.5% when the inflation is over 5%. But again, that's another topic that we're going to talk about later on, hopefully.
And I also want to add about how people just pay $2,400 a month when you can probably purchase the condo for a monthly payment that is less than that.
So this is going to happen soon once the rental rates go up so much, so that that people see, listen, you know what, I'm paying more than the mortgage that I would have had on that. They're going to find a way.
I wonder when people are going to click.
It's just a cycle. It will happen. People will find a way to grab the down payment, purchase a condo as opposed to rent it, because the rental rates will not make sense at that point. So enough with the rental rates. Let's go to...
we digress.
Let's go to what's going on in the news. There's a lot of topics that's happening and a lot of media attention to real estate, but we want to just grab a couple of points that I think people will find useful. Well, one was...
And interesting.
First one was the 2.5% rate increase for the rents in 2023. Two was, we're going to go into something that I found really interesting, and that was the City of Toronto offering zero interest loans.
Oh, yes.
And incentives to people who are renovating their homes and making it more energy efficient. I mean, previously we had some grants here and there for furnace, for windows, insulation and whatnot. But this one, I think it just came into effect as of July 7th. And the program is called HELP. So it stands for Home Energy Loan Program. It's zero interest loans up to $125,000 for a term of up to 15 years. So, I mean, that's something really interesting that I don't know how they came up with it. because previously we had grants that would cover a portion of your renovation, but now they're giving zero interest loan for $125,000. So I'm gonna put the link to that below the video. You guys can click it, go right into the City of Toronto's website and look up the detail, but that's something really good for people who are looking to invest, buy something that's older, renovated, or they have a home that's in need of renovation to improve the value while the market is not so hot, and sell it when the market becomes hotter. So,
wait, what about our little house on the house?
Yeah, little house in the house. So,
I'm killing it today.
we have there was another. We had the laneway housing.
The laneway housing, yes.
That
the garden,
program,
yeah,
that was introduced last year, I believe. Now they have the same thing. They call it garden homes.
Garden homes, yeah.
So I think there was an appeal that they allowed the garden homes to be built, and again, that's to intensify the use of lands. Build more units, especially as the rents are going up. Bring more supply for rental.
It's like laneway housing almost.
Exactly.
Like house on the property, in the back.
Yeah. So again, that is happening, and for people that can do that, it will provide an extra cash flow, and also it will add more units to the rental supply and hopefully bring the rental rates a little bit lower. So the last topic I want to talk about is an article in Toronto Star by a writer who's always negative about all the real estate news, and I don't know what she's got against real estate.
What she's eating.
Yeah. But there was something about how the interest rate increases are increasing the rate of defaults on homes. I mean, we have statistic that says the rate of default is below 1%. Then we have a headline coming at, as rates rise, some real estate investors may have to sell at a loss, causing home prices to fall further. If you go through the entire article, she's just talking about the assignment sales that we talked about. People who bought with the intention to assign before closing, and they had no intention to close on the property. They couldn't even close the property to begin with. And these people are coming up to their occupancy or closing, and they have to let go of their property.
And before people let go of their, that they've exhausted, obviously, all avenues of options to try to not, right? No one wants to lose money, obviously. So people are asking their family members. They're cutting back on their spending. And they're doing what's necessary to not default,
Exactly. And again, these headlines shouldn't scare anyone from investing, because again, if you're investing for long term, that's where the money is, and that's how you should be investing in real estate.
Buy when the market is down.
Exactly. And that leads us to our forecast. So what we've been forecasting is, market is slowing down. It's providing opportunity for investors to get into the market. As rental rates are rising right now, it provides the perfect recipe for any investor to get into the market, because rental rates are going up, prices are coming down, something you could have bought 4 to 6 months ago. Right now you can buy it at 20% discount. Rental rates are up by about 20%, and your cash flow is gonna be golden. And as the market,
year one,
right off the get-go, and as the market progresses, I mean, you're buying for long term, 3 to 5 years from now, hopefully, that same property is gonna worth 20 to 30% higher. So again, perfect time for investors to get into the market. If you're looking to buy for yourself, also, you're gonna be selling and buying in the same market. So it's still good if you want to upgrade, because the property you wanted to probably upgrade to right now, it's gonna be priced lower, so you're gonna have a lower mortgage. So don't forget, if you found the information here valuable, be sure to share it with your friends and anyone that's in the real estate market, and be sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.